Government has invested trillions in agro-industrialization, nearly 2 trillion shillings more for the next financial year. But to observers, there are additional priority areas that could help lift Uganda's export earnings.
You know, in any supply chain, you must look at the right quality, right quantity, right place, and right time. So in order to do that, there are a number of interventions that we must put into this industry of export. Number one, we must see how are we managing our harvests. For example, we do harvest cereals, maize, and other things, but storage is a very big challenge. So we need to put up silos which are able to store those cereals before they are exported. Also, during the export, we have an issue of transport. Transport is something very important. We need railways to be working, fast trains. We also need cargo carriers which are able to take things which are perishable. And also we need cold chains. Cold chains like for fish, for vegetables, for fruits, so that we are able to reach in the market when our quality of the products is still as fresh as we get them from our gardens, as we get from the lakes.
The Export Promotions Board boss admits that, motivated by the growing demand for Uganda's produce, government and development partners have been urgently addressing existing constraints, holding back the growth of exports to figures in government forecasts.
As we talk now, the private sector under the Uganda exporters associations of especially of horticulture, which is fruits and vegetables, supported by different stakeholders, including what we call ABI Trust. They already have established one cold storage around the airport. But also the government is supporting finally establishing another one under the Uganda Free Zones Authority, which Free Zones Authority and Uganda Export Promotion Board have become one since the amendment of and the repeal of the previous laws. So, and soon it will be operational. So you are looking at two cold storage facilities at the airport, which should help enough, and that is important because I can say that the Entebbe Airport, for example, Entebbe International Airport, handles more than 50% of our horticulture exports. It also handles fish, it also handles other products.
Some of this export preparedness infrastructure being mentioned here by all means may be too capital intensive for individual farmers, but according to this engineer, it forms the most important part of the value chain.
You need to look at, for example, for any smaller average cereal producing association, it would need to look at around 2 billion. To be able to establish like 3 silos which can be able to run, but also there is running cost. There is also money that is required to be able to fill the silos. Because you see, if you are getting from the association must be having money to pay the farmers such that the farmers can go and grow more. So there is also need for running capital. A running capital of, let's say, like 1 billion or 2 billions. So you would look at 5 billions so that you can establish silos and also be able to have money to run the silos.
Uganda's key export that so far stands out as a result of investments in such infrastructure has, according to the central bank, helped shore up the shilling.
We saw good coffee prices helping us, in getting good proceeds from coffee. And I think we have just ended the first season of coffee. That helped in terms of really inflows.
John Bosco Kariisa, a former engineer with the Ministry of Defense and Veteran Affairs, says the same attention should be offered to other key cash crops, such as tea, which is currently facing policy issues.
The issues in tea industry is, number one, our tea is ranked very low in Mombasa market, and now the Ugandan tea is at 80 cents compared to Kenya that is $3, and compared to Rwandan tea that is $4 or $5. The problem of tea here is that number one, there is no policy that guides the tea production and processes. So the value chain for the tea is not controlled by any regulations. So there are so many people in the tea sector who are actually disorganizing the quality control. So what is happening with the tea is that some people have put up factories and they are not involved in the tea plantations. Now they compete for the leaf. And as they compete for the leaf, where the tea you are supposed to harvest the bud, you are supposed to harvest the top bud and only the 2 leaves. But now people are harvesting whatever they get even 3, 4, 5 leaves. And when they go to this factory refuses it. It goes to another one, it accepts it.
Uganda's tea story is not sweet on the ear, especially with the president's recent advice to farmers to diversify to high-income value crops due to changing global demands. Whether the policy will bring hope to farmers uprooting trees is a story for another day. Malcolm Sime, NTV Tonight, Business.